Hey everybody, it's Scott and Rita. This is our Cosmic Dialogue 45. We're on YouTube, Cosmic Fixer channel, and cosmicfixer.com. So, but that's not important. We're just going to do our dialogue, and it's going to be for us. Right, Rita?
That's right. For us and our audience, our new audience, our new appreciative, wanting to learn audience.
Yes, and you'll all learn about this audience, I have a feeling, and you may be surprised. So, why am I talking to you? This is for us. This is for Rita and I. So, and our audience.
They know what's going on.
Yeah. Do you want to start? I think we're going to do the traditional one, or should I start?
I don't care. I have no idea where we're going with this, but
I will allow you to start. Not
okay.
just say you're starting.
Okay. All right. So one day, September 1st, a year ago, September, we finally understood who our audience was, and it surprised us in that our audience is not on this earth anymore. And they are the ones, they are in spirit. We're all spirits, but they have left their physical bodies, and we are doing these dialogues in order to help them progress further in their learning. And since we understood that, we started doing these cosmic dialogues with a group who we're channeling these spirits in these dialogues. And since allowing that, you know, Scott and I both had some resistance to get through and feel through about stepping into that kind of channeling identity, I guess, as people tend to latch on to things in this world. Once we really accepted that A, it was possible, B, that we are able to do it, we just, our learning and our progression just took off. And so we were learning in cooperation with the spirits. So we've been improving our relationship, our connection with spirits who have things they need to, service they need to provide. And we are like good conduits for them to have influence on Earth in a way that is good for humanity. And that's what they need to continue their progression. And so they're serving us. We feel we are in service to them and to humanity. So it's a win-win-win. So that has just opened up an enormous amount of flow for us. That it was like, once we got in that boat, so to speak, not knowing where it was going, we've landed, and we are just shown one day after another what's happening next. And we just keep learning, and it's our desire to learn that keeps propelling us forward, and why they want to help us, and our desire to serve, why they want to serve us, because they know it's going to multiply and be expanded in a way that doesn't exist in multitudes, for sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me supercharge that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, a year ago when Rita and I started talking, she shared her vision and I shared some dreams too. But I think a year ago, September 1st, we started dabbling in this. And then it came to me that when we were more like real neophytes in this whole process of cosmic dialogue, or we started out as Kai Lego, when we were real neophytes in this, we kind of did some more things naturally, and how some of these things like spirit started coming through. And what I saw with Rita initially first was this image of Ellen of the Ways, and that was like something really quickly came through, and it was the acknowledgement of this female archetype, that antlered being that would show pathways, and how that was just naturally coming through and channeled through her energy, through her soul circles, through all of that. And so looking back now over this time period, it's like we were neophytes, and we were closer to that, this idea now of this serving a different audience than we were in the between, when we started like really spinning off into community, and then we Cosmic Fixer, and then we have 40 videos where we like had all these like desires to really reach out. We needed to reel back and said, this is really still has to be about us, about our living the experience, about our flipping this to a different audience, this audience of spirit, that's always had its hand on us, this third hand too that we talk about, this audience of this third hand that's always had its hand on us. And realizing that this hand is here to say, hey, we are here to serve you. And it's logical. It's like, what do I want to do when I'm a spirit? Of course I'm going to come back and I want to serve humanity as a spirit. And so now we have a different audience. And so it has changed and flipped a lot of things for us. And we are able to actually bring forth the information, I think, and this, especially with Rita, with her circles, with all of the things that she embodies, to bring forth that energy from spirits and entities that maybe once roamed the earth, maybe never roamed the earth, to bring back this knowledge for us to show that we can experience it. And then even through us experiencing it, maybe someone watches it, and they can make their own conclusions or do whatever. This audience of, I call them angels or spirits or beings or principalities or essence, the audience of essence, comes through and gets to serve humanity because we progress and learn. If we progress and learn along with this audience now, humanity gets to learn from them. And so channeling doesn't sound like a tough of a term. So, and with Rita, it's like your soul circles have like expanded into, a sort of soul circle from Mother Mary, a soul circle from the Woman of the Well, or a soul circle from Caradwin, the Maid Mother Crone archetype. These are, and some people call these channelings, but we do this all the time, and so it could be scary for folks, or it could be not scary for folks. We've detached from that. We say, bring on the scary, bring on the woo-woo, and it's really reinvigorated us now to bring it on, because, hey, spirits are going to serve us. Who are we? And Rita taught me this. Who are we to not have spirits serve us? When they say, hey, we're going to serve you. Here it is. So, but yeah, the Ellen of the Ways archetype is still coming through very, very prominently. And sometimes Ellen is silent. And Rita as Ellen is sometimes silent. She shows a path. She shows a path behind her. But it's that essence of Ellen coming through Rita, and Rita grows with that. So that's how this is progressing. And and we haven't really checked in with the rest of the world audience. Maybe people are learning, maybe people are not, maybe people are getting their own spirits coming to them to serve them, maybe not, but we are not checking in with you the viewer, anymore. And it's we are checking in with them, and we are shining our light. It's different.
Yeah. I want to supercharge that.
Oh, good.
Double supercharge.
Super duper charge.
Yes, when we started serving our real audience, it was so fun to watch everything just unfold for you, Scott, and for me. And the things that we had to just go, oh, okay, all right, thank you. Okay, I'm going to take your guidance, and at the same time I'm going to take action with the intention of serving our audience. And it just was such a shift in just when I heard Scott say, we're not checking in with you, the viewer, the screen viewer. We're not checking in with you anymore. That just like freed us up for so many things that we couldn't even, it's like taking off blinders. We couldn't see what was there prior to that. When we were checking in with what people on earth want, it's like such a narrow, confining path, options to choose from when you try to, I guess, please is what we were doing, try to please people who were viewing our work. And when we just said, no, we're not doing that anymore, we just grew and could breathe and stretch and move, and it just changed our entire way of being to things that we couldn't have even seen before. And that's like, it's even difficult to explain to people still, even though we're living it. We have to just go live it, and talking about it doesn't do any good because it's incomprehensible unless you get in your boat and float off to unknown, uncharted waters yourself. You can't understand. And sometimes people hear that as arrogance. It's like, I'm sorry, you just can't understand what we're going through. But it's just not that. Yes, I can own the courage that it took for us to get in these boats, not having any idea where we're going or how we're going to learn how to get there. Just doing the thing that we're being led to do without knowing the how. Everybody has to take that step in order to understand what it's like. Don't you think?
I totally agree. One thing you said, that will probably progress throughout our process with our audience, was owning our courage. And so that's something I just want to make a little side asterisk. So that's probably our next topic for our audience is owning courage, owning our own courage. So that for me frees up so much. We can own we can own our responsibilities, but then owning our courage just opens up a new door. So we'll save that one for later, because I think you hit on something with that. For me, I wanted to do my own little dialogue too, and you can supercharge me.
Okay.
About a year ago, I had a dream that Rita was in, and it was great. My dream was about angels coming to me. Maybe it's our new audience. We both kind of found this coming to us in different ways. Angels coming to me and saying, we're moving you, for your dedication, we're moving you into a larger space. And these angels brought me into this empty church. This like empty country church with hardwood floors, no pews, no seats, maybe a stage. Everything was bare, but it was pure, polished, bare, clean. And these light beings brought me here and said, we're moving you in. Here you go. And it was expansive. And then Rita, along with other women, I see Rita in my dreams sometimes with pigtails as her antlers for Ellen of the Ways. So that's how I know it's Rita.
I forgot to do that to my hair today.
Oh, someday. So you don't have to do that. It's a spirit thing. But yeah, and so she was bringing in boxes. All these other women were bringing in boxes, and just they were light, so maybe they didn't have anything in them in the physical. So, but I was just astounded by all the people bringing in boxes. These angels or these beings of light, moving me into a new space. And so part of it too is a little gratitude towards them. Like, okay, thank you for putting me in this space. So for a year, the feeling of being put into a new abundant space of energy, serving our new audience. And in the past, even when I would sing at a church, I would invite angels to come in the audience, and that made a lot of difference. But so now it's this whole idea of, I don't serve in the simplest terms. In the most simplest terms, and I don't say this to be off-putting or to trigger anyone's. Again, it's not you're not our audience to check into. It's not off-putting. In the simplest terms, it's like I'm now serving Source, God, Spirit. That's who I serve. I serve this new audience that has come forth to me, that has given me expanse. And through serving that, I get better, which serves the world, which allows them a space to serve more of the world. So, and it's a flip to know that I don't have to rely anymore on my own action alone. And that has been so freeing as well. So Rita and I can continue our dialogues, continue bringing messages, continue feeling messages, and living these things through our audience, knowing that we don't have to check in with an audience. We don't have to check in with our YouTube users if we want to. Well, we probably will, but we're not going to edit our content anymore or feel like we're teaching anymore, because we're serving this audience. And through serving it, we don't have to rely on our own earthly effort, our own achievement, our own striving for whatever our ego says we have to have, which I think we started getting into years ago when we started planning this, and we wanted to please people. We wanted people to come on board, for us to have an avenue for maybe a small side income of sorts, and to be coaches. But we don't have to do that. It's opened up a whole new world. And we are learners. We are pilgrims coming forth, serving this audience and letting them come through. and we're shining our lights. That's all it is. And we don't have to check in with the responses or the opinions of the world about that. And yeah, probably that puts some people off. Oh, wow, that sounds pretty holy roller. You haven't lived our lives, you can't. So we own our own courage. So that's for us to decide. And again, that owning courage, I think there's something else there. But we haven't had to. It's just been so freeing, and I serve those angel beings that put me in a bigger space, and they teach me, and I learn, and we teach them through our physical embodiments of the what is possible. Oh my gosh, I'm a light being, and I can change a person, and that helps them too.
Yeah. And the space that the angels moved you into was like, well, there was room for the audience, and the audience could come and go as needed, because they, and we say they're our audience, but they're teaching us while they are learning. While they teach us, they learn. They learn how to serve. They learn how to serve us, as well as people on earth who maybe don't necessarily consciously want their assistance, or their teaching, I should say. And that space you've discovered is the church part of it was a symbol of spirituality, and the big open space, the light boxes were the space was for the audience. The boxes are for the possibilities, the unknown possibilities of what's coming. They'll be filled after you move in, rather than moving from your old life to the new life. You left all of that behind, because you have new things that are going to come through in that new space as you learn, as the spirits learn. And it was a structure with a specific amount of space, because our audience is going to change and move through as they learn, as they do their serving. They learn and are able to move on. They have another space to move to. And we will too eventually, and we'll hand that space over to someone else who is ready and desiring to be serving and receiving at the same time. And you owning the courage it takes to just move into this unknown empty space with an audience that we can't see, but we know is there. That was just a step that we couldn't possibly know the outcome of, the ramifications of what that one step would bring. And that's what we learned, and that's what I've watched you do, is you just taking that one step, and then all these things just open up. And so we started recognizing ahead of time that feeling of this, a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of unknown, but then it started to be excitement, unknown, because now we know what happens when we just take that one step into the unknown. Everything opens up. And so we feel like we've moved to a different place of the unknown is a wonderful thing rather than a scary thing. And it kind of creates a rift between us and every other human on the planet. But we would much rather have all of those possibilities opened up than have that really kind of a tethered connection to the old, I don't want to say the old way of thinking, just the way that the pervasive way of thinking on the earth. We're getting more comfortable being unusual.
I would add it's the burdensome way of thinking.
Yeah.
And the boxes, the light boxes, really reminded me of, you're moving here and it's not burdensome. The luggage is light. The moving in the boxes is light and it is unburdening. So all these women carrying big boxes and like they were nothing. They were like carrying unburdened and light, belongings of whatever that would be, or just unburdening ourselves from the old. And here's empty possibilities that are not burdensome. You can carry them wherever you want, as long as you want.
Yeah, I love it.
Great. All right. Thank you, Rita.
Brave.
Thank you for owning your courage. So thank you to our audience. So
yes, thank you.
Oh my gosh, we are constantly learning. So, till next time.